I was talking to down there, her husband was one of the guys that was going to get shot. She and her son were trying to walk around. My son watched this.
Because special operations personnel may well need to operate deep behind enemy lines on their own with only occasional resupply from the air, the 275-mile cruising range of the Humvee is invaluable. Ladies and gentlemen, you will now see an MH-60 Black Hawk helicopter approaching the channel with Australian, Thai, and U.S. operators on board. They will execute a fast rope infiltration to eliminate an enemy sentry located on the barge you see in front of you. The MH-60 Black Hawk is primarily used for insertion and extraction missions of Special Operations Forces in hostile environments, day and night, and in all weather. They can also conduct resupply, medical evacuation, and combat search and rescue missions. Troops can also utilize this aircraft for parachute infiltrations. The MH-60 Black Hawk is flown exclusively by the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment. Included in this assault force are highly trained demolition experts. They are trained in a variety of conventional explosives such as dynamite and C4, as well as improvised munitions and sabotage operations. Much like a real mission, because of limited time and no means to remove the items, the team will place C4 explosives with a time-delayed charge calculated to detonate after they leave the barge. Rigid hull inflatable boats, or ribs, are now approaching the main enemy village to execute the hostage rescue mission against a fortified enemy position. This assault force is comprised of Army Green Berets, Navy SEALs, Air Force combat controllers, and Marine Corps special operators, and consists of personnel from Brazil, Canada, Jordan, Norway, Poland, the United Thailand. Is a high-speed, high-buoyancy, extreme weather craft, the primary mission of delivering U.S. Navy SEALs. Each craft is manned by a crew of 3 Special Warfare Combatant Craft crewmen and can carry 8 personnel. Ladies and gentlemen, if you look to the north end of the harbor, it looks like an enemy vessel. extraction missions, coastal resupply.
This is better than active valor.
Same gunboat.
Oh man. Guys, I'll have this on YouTube so you guys can share it. Eddie, I'll have this on YouTube and share it with you guys on HDs.
Actually, if you go to the SOFIC website, the Facebook, the SOFIC, they'll have all these pictures and some videos.
It's also interesting to note that this craft is airdroppable by the C-5, C-17, and C-130 aircraft.
Hear those diesel engines?
Look at the wake on that thing, man.
Is that it? Nope. Nope. You're gonna keep us in suspense, aren't you?
You're almost close. Got a couple more things on. That's great.
Ladies and gentlemen, soon you will see an MH-60 Black Hawk helicopter returning to pick up the assaulters from the barge. They will use the Special Patrol Insertion and Extraction System to depart the area. This system is used for extracting personnel from areas where helicopters cannot land, such as dense jungle, aboard vessels at sea, and from atop buildings in urban areas. During this method, a rope is attached to the helicopter and lowered down to the personnel. A series of rings on the rope allow operators on the ground to harness.
There's more? Keep it rolling.
The ground mobility and all-terrain vehicles will now depart the area. Soon you will see the MH-47 Chinook helicopter returning to pick up the personnel from the water. The personnel will be positioned in a straight line at approximately 5. The helicopter will fly low, drop out and drag an aluminum caving ladder and fly down the line as each individual climbs into the aircraft.
It's crazy.
If you look in front of the Tampa General Hospital, you can just barely make up the heads of the operators lined up.
They don't teach this in basic, buddy. Special ops.
Something interesting to note is that the filtration method for the back ramp immerse itself into the bay until the cargo compartment actually filled with water. And then the Zodiac and its crew would simply drive right up inside the helicopter. This was an extremely complex maneuver, only achievable by highly skilled special operation aviators. Due to the advanced avionics on board today's aircraft, this exfiltration method is no longer conducted. Another interesting fact to consider about today's event is that as impressive as all of this is, it's even more impressive when you consider that these teams had to merge different tactics, different techniques, different procedures from 10 different nations and overcome significant language barriers. And they choreographed all of this demonstration in just 4 days. These special operators truly are the best our countries have to offer. Gentlemen, if you'll look overhead, coming from the south, the final event you will see today is a military free-fall parachute operation. 4 United States Marine Corps jumpers will exit a C-130 aircraft from approximately 6,000 deploy their parachutes. They will ascend there and then land together in the channel in front of you. Considered to be one of the military's most demanding and potentially hazardous advanced skills, military free-fall parachute operations are used to infiltrate enemy areas under the cover of darkness to avoid detection. Parachutists land at their objective as a combat-ready tactical unit. Special Operations military free-fall personnel are taught to conduct high-altitude, low-opening missions by exiting an aircraft at altitudes up to 35,000 feet. Typically, the parachutists free-fall to about 2,500 feet from ground level before deploying their canopies. They have just exited the aircraft.
Yeah, this is hard to get.
Yeah.
The jumpers are directly above the Tampa Convention Center now.
It's gotta have some way.
A similar activity is known as high-altitude, high-opening parachute missions, in which parachutists exit at high altitudes and deploy their canopies using highly maneuverable operations in the dead of night while fully loaded when in excess of 100 pounds of combat equipment and wearing special helmets and oxygen masks.
I was about to say.
We'll be up there for a while.
It didn't take no time before you saw that shoes. Yeah. I skydove.
Another interesting thing to note, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that all of our airspace required for today's event is being controlled by several Air Force Special Operations Command Combat Controllers, or CCTs. The senior CCT for today's event is Major Mark McGill. He is located on top of the Tampa General Hospital and is responsible for controlling the layering of all of today's aircraft. This includes the MH-47 Chinook, MH-60 Blackhawk, CV-22 Osprey, and the C-130 Hercules aircraft, including all the jumpers in free fall and under canopy. His responsibilities also include coordinating airspace with the Federal Aviation Administration, Tampa International Airport, Peter O. Knight Municipal Airport, and several other smaller local airports. In fact, during yesterday's rehearsal, Major McGill cleared airspace and coordinated the arrival of a Tampa General Hospital life flight helicopter. Another CCT is positioned on one of the rigid hull inflatable boats near today's mission commander, Major Aaron Schwartz. This CCT allows Major Schwartz to have full control over all aspects of the operation, land, sea, and air.
Where are they landing?
The CCTs actually perform their duties of air traffic controller right out of the rucksack on their back. A great example of these capabilities occurred in January 2010 when 10 Air Force Special Operations Command combat controllers were among the first to arrive at the International Airport in Port-au-Prince, Haiti after a devastating 7.0 magnitude earthquake. Combat controllers from the 23rd Special Tactics Squadron immediately conducted a runway assessment and determined the extent of the damage. Within 28 minutes of landing on the ground, this team of combat controllers had taken full control of air operations in theater. In total, the 23rd Special Tactics Squadron brought in over 1,600 fixed wing and 800 helicopters in the 12 days they were deployed to Haiti.
I don't know.
No, there's no way they can hit that channel.
If you look above you, it looks like the parachutists are lined up behind the lead parachuter. This is typical procedure, and he will guide them in to their channel landing. Today's demonstration is being conducted as part of U.S. Special Operations Command International Special Operations Forces Week, or ISOF, being held at the Tampa Convention Center and MacDill Air Force Base. This event, which is held every 4 years, brings together U.S. and international special operations leaders from around the world, retired SOF leaders, as well as corporate representatives from hundreds of companies. The theme for this week's ISOF Week is Building the Global SOF Partnership and reflects U.S. Special Operations Command's efforts to strengthen existing and build new, enduring relationships among our international SOF partners.
I got it nicely. I got pulled up in time.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's a successful water jump. Fantastic. This concludes the 2012 Special Operations Capability Demonstration. Please direct your attention to the returning rigid hull inflatable boats.
Are you taking off?
Yeah, man. Good seeing you, bro.
Well, let's do some fish tacos.
All right, man.
Okay.
See you later, brother.
Only over 85 nations are with us this week in Tampa, exchanging ideas, learning from one another, and building trust.